some of the things that these corrupt organizations and individuals do is when it comes to the targeted individuals and day-to-day business affairs activities to create agitation and frustration and confusion in their lives with the hopes and intentions of exasperating them with all of the chaos and the conflict and the confusion that seems to be deniable plausibility shit like there's some kind of misunderstanding. It's not that much goddamn miscommunication and misunderstanding on no plane of existence. These are orchestrated, manipulated tactics to have the target to have to over exasperate themselves by making numerous phone calls, numerous appointments to remedy things over and over again that they should never have had to constantly remedy. Is to keep the target in a state of hypervigilance as well as for their fraudulent activity. What you are looking at when you see the red arrow, that's a number that neither I or my son has ever utilized. I'm going to say that again. At no point in the history of him receiving SSI and him receiving Social Security survivors, have we ever utilized the number that you see this red arrow pointing at. However, I do have relatives that are in the state of Nevada that utilize those number sequences. Okay. So I have made numerous phone calls every time we moved, when we relocated to Texas, and every relocation stamp, even within Texas, I have contacted all these Social Security administrations. We have received mail. I've spoken with individuals. I've went into the offices, all of the changes. Even for those of you who like to argue that maybe the target used these numbers at some point. Okay. Well, even for shits and giggles, if that were the case, the continual changing of information and it not reflecting is representing, and it's a red flag for foul play, whether that is relatives or individuals calling under the guise of the target because they do have the target's information, so they can very well verify those things. They also would know the information that people typically use to verify. They would know the mother's and the father's maiden names. They would know the cities and states in which the targets were born in. So these are easy clearance communications that they could easily pass without a problem. They can call and do that. This is what is being done to my son and I currently, and this is what is being done to many targets. And it looks like plausible deniability. Oh, maybe there was a glitch in the computer system 1,000 times after, bitch, you came in here with our retarded ass and told us that this shit is wooty woo. Maybe there was a mistake. Maybe the person was new. They go through a whole list of bullshit responses, classic for NPC grid. This is to exasperate the target, to confuse the target, to make the target look, and again, inept. They can't take care of business. They don't know how to handle life. They're confused. They're just stretched out and distraught. No, there are people playing with things that otherwise there's no, I'm going to say it again, plausible deniability. I'm going to start shitting all over it and counseling plausible deniability. That's only going so far. At some point, there's a pattern. At some point, it's not just life or process or happenstance. And at some point, this ain't even got nothing to do with no curse per se. Okay, because listen, the curse is toxic people doing bullshit that they have no business doing. That's the curse. It ain't magical. It's the curse is people abusing authority. That's not spiritual, that's not godly, that's not power, big bang, bada bang, bada boom. That's a bunch of lowlives deciding that has access to do so. And that's a bunch of two-bit crooks and criminals that are professional at manipulating these said structures. As I said, anybody on targets, anybody can call and say and give all the information to pass all of the security clearance questions. And if they want to create confusion there, they can be constantly calling after the target has called. So looking like the target is calling multiple times. Oh, we moved back here, or this is the address. I'm just giving you all examples of what could be. Because again, this is the My Social Security account website. This is what you're looking at. And I did for legalese. And for the purposes of the video, you see blacked out stuff to preserve certain things. Okay. However, again, 725 area code has never been my son's listed phone number. We had 702, and I recall and have records of the numbers when we were in Nevada. But the point that I'm making is, even if let's say my brain is slipping, entertain that my mind is slipping. Okay, but I've relocated, he's relocated several times, and I have been diligent on providing all of those updated informations. So why would a 725 number still be reflected in his goddamn shit? We have not been in the state of Nevada since 2022, the very beginning. I called Social Security 2 weeks ago about a Silsbee, Texas address, which they partnered with these people in Silsbee originally. Wondering why, after 5 and 6 times, once he relocated, we got into Beaumont, that was no longer neither his mailing nor his residential address. These are just a list of the small things they do, they being whoever they are, for whatever their reasons are, to cause burdens for the target. To have fraudulent access, in this case, to have fraudulent access to mail. They had my son listed. Listen, they had him still listed residential in Silsbee, Texas, and he been gone from Silsbee, Texas, and I've been reported it. Why? Who is that connected to? This is the RICO case. This is human trafficking, and this is exploitation of our human and civil rights. It's also a federal crime. Now, these coats are in with the corrupt government, so that's why they feel pretty arrogant and cocky about what they're doing. I already caught a couple of them today going up and down the other side of the street doing their weird coat symbols. Ain't gonna work. Not anymore. The goal is to exasperate and keep. They're trying to affect the target's vibration. They're trying to affect the target's nervous system, because then you get in a repellent energy. If your nervous system is hardwired to fight, flight, or freeze, vibrationally, the nervous system affects the biofield, which creates a vibrational repellent, because the body doesn't feel safe. So since all of their shit ton of $1 million spell work over 35 years, they're poisonous, the poison that my son and I haven't consumed. They then attempt to plummet the targets with negativity. That's a strategy. And there's plenty of people that are willing to be paid to do that. So this is why they'll either have people start to act funny out of nowhere, to act nice one minute, then all of a sudden act like, a walk in, a step in, jumped in their body, and they turned into go gadget, another nigga bitch. This is why, because they're trying to keep the targets in a state of perpetual trauma by way of a long string of plausible deniability, just life shit. Oh, it's a process. Oh, it's a misunderstanding. Oh, it's a miscommunication. Oh, it's a glitch in the system. Oh, someone else called. Oh, just a list of bullshit. To unnaturally, there's no reason why I should have had to call 5 different times for these bitches and niggas to get this shit right in this here system. It ain't that many glitches, system updates, retarded ass new employees in the world. It ain't that much incompetence in the world. And if they're that damn incompetent, they all need to be fired yesterday. Ain't that much incompetence. Ain't that much. Some shit, listen, in my day, when I was in corporate, when I was in the mainstream heavy duty workforce like that, not even that long ago, when I was in Texas, when I had a very consistent job over a year in a traditional, it wasn't traditional because it was a, what they call it, at home office, but it was, a traditional or whatever type of environment. And let me tell you something, at the end of the day, when you take on a job, either you're gonna fucking do it or you're not. Ain't no excuse making. They take you through, you get granted, and I'm just keeping on the 100, okay? This ain't meant to be funny or nothing like that. But when we talk about the workforce, I ain't saying it's all fair. I'm simply saying how it goes. Yes, get in there. You got 90, you go, depending on what type of job this is. They're going to take you through the training period. They're going to take you through, the probationary period. They're going to take you through all, and then, they're not going to just be altogether done with you, but it's going to be a trail of things. It's going to start with warnings, write-ups, and that final pink slip. Because you're asking, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, either you're mounting up to what that job requires, or you're not mounting up to what that job requires. At the end of the day, it's bullshit. At the end of the day, it comes to a place where there's not that amount of too busy, overburdened, and if it is, where people can't do basic standard shit, they should be fired. because those are those are possibly training issues, time management. And like I said, in some cases, this should be unfair. I've been in corporate, I've been in business arenas like that, where it's like they have unrealistic expectations of their people. But once again, I'm simply speaking, well, it's the job. Because you got people that sit behind a desk, sit behind a Zoom meeting, and they go down a list, a bullet pointed list, and think they can understand the full scope of what folks are are dealing with. That's frontliners. So they create this expectation, and they go, well, you should be, sure, you should have 1,000 people to deal with, and should be able to tend to all 1,000, bitch. You know. I get it. I've been there. That's I'm like I'm not triple double negative. I'm not in the know. But in the case of the targets and the situation that they deal with, they give ample grace to people and they give ample time. That's why I'm being silly and funny. Because it's designed to irritate the target. It's designed to cause unjustifiable, unnecessary delays, which is meant to accumulate what? Agitation and frustration unnecessarily on top of what's already a possibly irritating and frustrating situation naturally. You see that? So when something already by nature of what it is going to have its own set of, yeah, this is frustrating, this is irritating. Then you have paid actors and actresses, 2-bit lowlifes, that's willing to go along with these tactics, whether it is to soothe their religious itch, to soothe their self-loathing and hatred that they're projecting onto the target, to soothe, their vengeance plan because they the homie or the bitch that don't like the target, to soothe whatever the case may be. I shall not have to call Social Security Administration 12 times to get basic contact information accurate, to be reflected accurately. I'm going to say it again. No target, me, no one should have to contact a government agency under 30-day period 1,000 times over, and then again 3 months down the road when something else come up and we decide that it's not reflecting again. There's no amount of training grace, computer glitch, system update that should be granted. At some point, this is intentional or it's fucking just dumbness. Either way, unjustifiable. Because these are people's lives. These are lives. It's not just a screen. It's not just some data, ones and zeros, dollars and figures and cents on ledgers. These are people, not QRC codes. These things could have catastrophic issues. This could be why they end up having issues getting other things done as they attempt to apply for one other thing and one other thing, because with the Social Security Administration, especially when you're dealing with governmental type of stuff, if this stuff starts to look all jumbled up and spaghetti bowled and weird due to fraudulent activity and bullshit, I called 2 weeks ago. Now, here's what's fascinating about this. I didn't show it here. So this is the part that people are doing certain things. The correct address reflected his residential, his current dwelling properly, but they didn't change the number. So the bitch put the address, the nigga, whoever did it, they did that right, bitch, but they didn't put the number. Or if they did, they changed it, or someone else changed it back. You see what I'm saying? Because when I updated that for the 1,000th times, I provided clear communication to remove that phone number. And when I called just now they got some backward ass saying that his residential address is reflecting the mailing address, and it isn't. And how I know that to be, as a matter of fact, we have received mail at the mailing address that I provided for both he and I made it absolutely clear to these representatives that both my son and myself, as his representative, and him. Like I said, it's not that much confusion in the world. Because now we're just talking borderline incompetence if we're going to keep leaning into that. I am not the only one. My son is not the only one. These are things that they do with this torture program, this illegal surveillance shit, these corrupt two-bit criminals, these high, that they hire with big money and, and just, a thirst for blood. So that targets, once again, so that they are constantly doing things. How are they supposed to be stabilizing when they're constantly cleaning up messes that's being made for them intentionally, while everybody sit back and hee and ha ha and think they big shit until their ass get lit? And then got the audacity to try to make these targets feel like it's something wrong with them, like it's something that they don't know how to do, like they're the weak ones, like they're the ones that don't know how to take care of themselves or their responsibilities. And you see the narcissistic, sadistic, Machiavellian vibration there. Play with the target and then make it seem like there's something wrong with the target. Play with the target and their life stuff and make it seem like they're just, that's the epitome of narcissistic. They want the target's attention on survival mode. This is why they do all the things that they do. This is why the street theater is manufactured on cue, on schedule every day. This is why big wigs with big money drive in circles around locations and cities and businesses and places that the target is. So mail is a big part of RICO cases because they tamper with mail. That's a big part of the charge. They tamper with phones and devices. Because guess what? When I originally called Social Security today, I placed myself to be put on the list to be called back in 30 minutes and whenever they were finished. And I didn't get the call. It went straight to my voicemail. I had my phone with me to watch and gauge it intentionally. Plausibly a glitch in the system? Maybe. So this time, when I called back, I stayed on the line the entire time doing some interesting things because I knew what that's about. And now, in Eureka, and lo and behold, now the representative, because they have the wrong information, I couldn't verify. I gave the right information at the fourth time because of the way they put that information in there incorrectly. The person claiming that they could not utilize the correct address because it was the fourth one. I shouldn't have even had to go through the fourth one. So, but my goal was accomplished. I've been wanting to go into the Social Security Administration office here in Compton. And so now I will be taking my son there because this stops now. And I am putting a fraud alert. If that means that we're going to always have to go into the office, so be it. Because apparently anybody could call and tamper with and play with things when they feel like it. Anybody can call claiming that I updated something, he updated something. All they need to do is provide a series of questions. And if they're your relatives or corrupt government officials, they would have that information anyway. If it's corrupt landlords, because all these people have that information. Well, they don't have until they're given that information. They may not have stuff about your maiden name or your parents' maiden name, and but they have all the others for sure, because that's what you have to do to even get into these places. They got your Social Security, they have your, you know what I'm saying? Somebody gonna say, why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because this is the accumulation of playing with people's lives. It's alarming for fraudulent activity. What else is being done? It's a big deal because then this could be, again, it could mess up other things for the targets or cause, again, unnecessary delays when they have deadlines, when they have a goal, when they're trying to reestablish themselves so that they don't have to be displaced in a necrotic environment. So it look like they can't get documentation together. They can't, all this little penny any ass weak nigga bitch tactics. And then want to make it seem like they need to teach the targets how to do basic life shit. That's a destiny swap attempt. My relatives did that when I relocated to Nevada. Sabotaging you, doing shit, and making shit more difficult, and then trying to make it seem like you don't know how to do basic shit. Like you need help filling out a form. You need help making a phone call. Bitch, like you've been doing this shit before they existed, before there was any of it. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? No, there's chaos and conflict confusion magic. There's gaslighting, there's interference at play, physical and spiritual and energetic. Nobody don't need no help in making no goddamn phone call. It's little bullshit tactics like that repetitively. Or sending something to the wrong address, sending a ride to the long space and location, having them sit over there when they bet your ass is supposed to be over there because that's over there ain't the address. The address right here, nigga. Is to keep the target in a repelling vibration, even if that's not their natural vibration. Destiny swap. Via manipulation of the vibration. Nothing real woo-woo, because a lot of their woo-woo shit fail. Or it doesn't, I'm going to say this, it does not provide the full effect intended. That's a better, more accurate statement. Even over longevity, even over, let's say there's a space of time for that. So the accumulation, because I am aware of how energy work, including spell work, including baneful work. I know how it works. Oftentimes it's not instant. Oftentimes it's something that has to, for whatever reason, there's an energy build to it that has to be at play. And so what a lot of these people do is that's why they have to step in on the being. If they're pretty strong and resilient, this is why they got these two big motherfuckers walking around being stupid. This is why they got the thugs, the gangsters, Shanae, Bonquisha, Laquanda, Kuan Yin, Pedro, all the names, bitch. You know why I'm going there? Because all are included. Not going there in a disrespectful way. I'm going there because all are included, all nations, all creeds, all ethnicities, all socioeconomic statuses and classes. None of them are exempt. They recruit them all. The princesses, the highfalutin ones, and the garage, all levels, grades, and degrees. To participate in creating a toxic environment and a hostile environment to affect the targets and the target's children intentionally by looking like, oh no, it's, oh, that's not, oh, yeah. And it's done. Now, here's the kicker you all have to accept now. It is done it's all a melting pot. So you have a mixture of good in that. That's what also helps to perpetuate their bullshit, because there's a mixture of good. When I say not from them, I'm saying in their midst. So for an example, let's say, just for shits and giggles, let's say it's an organization. If an organization is being used, let's say it's predominantly maybe got 70% corruption, and then 30 is that the way it's 30%, people that are not in the know. Do you understand? The 30%, maybe people who are just unfortunate instant bystanders. They just, unfortunately, they are part of the business. It's their job. Okay. But they might not be, could be 30% of them that has absolutely 0% knowledge. Okay. That's to be fair. And this is how this is what makes it effective for them though. Because the 30% that's not in the know, what happens is, depending on their state of being, they end up getting possibly just misconstrued about the target, because the target may have symptoms of things. The target's children may display symptoms of things. And if they don't have knowledge of stuff, then they're going to lean, even if they're not involved and they don't know. You see that? They're going to still lean into, because all they're doing is simply maybe viewing a reaction of a target that's tired of dealing with two bit motherfuckers that need to get some goddamn courage and step the fuck to the bitch. Okay, go back. Anyway, bullshit. I would be big and bad too if I can hide behind some tinted windows, nigga. I'm just saying. I would be smirking like a motherfucker as well, bitch, if all I had to do is sit my whole ass. Shit. I would be big shit too. Shit, I'll be walking around like acting like I'm big and bad because I can hide behind a whole lot of motherfuckers. I'll be big and bad too. Shit. Put me in the tuning windows, bitch. Let me drive in circles. But back to being fair. Okay, to be fair, the people who sincerely, hear me out, 30% sincerely do not know nothing about what the hell. Okay, they're just doing their jobs. So depending on the arena, depending on the industry, that particular business in, then they're gonna, it's a possibility, as they see if the target gets sick, if the target's kid gets sick, like I said, if the target is aggravated, because they are truly still dealing with shit, whether the people in their myths are aware or can conceive of it or not, as they deal with already maybe tumultuous circumstances just naturally. It's going to be naturally uncomfortable for maybe people in the circumstances, or naturally naturally irritating, frustrating by way of the situation. So then these people will then concede to think, oh, okay, well, they're just stressed out, or maybe they're they are getting of age there, they could just be going through the change of life or having a midlife crisis, whether it's a man or a woman, dealing with someone on the spectrum, and what comes with that. Oh, that, and so people will just end up, and this is also playing into the hands of the motherfuckers. They know that full well. They know that the 30% of people that haven't been pulled into the game, that haven't been, you know what I'm saying, offered anything or proposed anything, or, like that. They know that most people just simply want to do their jobs. Okay. No matter who, their personal lifestyle, most people just, they're sincere, and they're just doing their jobs. Okay. That's all, they lean into that though. That's the fuck. I'm trying to do the best I can here, because that's the fucked up part. It's like they lean into that. because everybody's got a breaking point. This is not a matter of how whole and healed you are. That's why I caution a lot of the movements, because it's a trap. Then you feel like you are on some kind of a perpetuated state of eternal healing from all the crazy shit people continue to do. And then it gives this appearance as if you're someone who simply, you're someone that simply cannot uh heal or overcome. Get it together, babe, so the people can hear you. You know, um, you see the trick that is a very subtle one. It's so subtle. It's possibly one of the grandest and greatest magician tricks of all time, because it makes the person feel like it's something that they forever need to be fixing. No, bitch, what we need. Okay. Come back, bitch. Get your ass, because you're going off. You're going on a tangent, and come home. Get your ass back here. It's a fine line. Yes, we do. We need to, with the inner child healing trauma. Absolutely. Look at our addictions and the open points that happen to us as a result, whatever case. Sure. Affirmative. Okay. Affirmative. However, when you're dealing with ongoing, when there's injustices that's constantly being done on a maybe more serious and grander scale, that's not going to matter in totality. Okay. What happens is the healing helps the target navigate. Okay. The alchemy, the breath work, those things, bitch. Okay. But them being upset, they still bleed. That's why I say we have to be careful. It's natural. It goes against nature to be okay with somebody hurting you and your children. And when I say be okay, I mean basically play like that don't matter, or become the passive role, or even the aggressive, these extremes here. You see what I'm saying? The passivity of no, it's unnatural. We have to work on our vibration so we're less reactive, because we understand the parasites that feeds off of it. I'm simply saying that it's still natural. It's not indicative that the target needs medication. They may need help for sure. You get a bunch of niggas and bitches with money and power and on some bullshit, on some political agendas and some religious agendas and some health, prejudice agendas, coming for your ass and your children 24/7, and see how much you're smiling and how long that lasts. While you try to take care of a disabled kid that can't do those things for themselves, while every self-help system give you a whole list of shit, bitch, about what the fuck, bitch, you supposed to do. So you is trying to alchemize for two because one can't do it for themselves, and then motherfuckers want to say, you bleed. They can't even do shit. They can't even fucking chew gum, pop bubble gum, and walk at the same time, bitch, without a whole fucking entourage making sure that they do it properly. But they want to have something to say about you. Listen, it ain't about them needing healing. That's why I said be careful. It ain't all about don't get bitter, get better. Don't let bitterness I agree. I 100. A lot of statements are true and false at the same time. I said this last night. I agree because it's our vibration, right? That helps us. It's the essence of us. It's all the things in which they're trying to affect. I get that. I agree. But what are some of the things that we need to put in play? Because at some point we can't keep saying it's bitterness. No, people with power and money are continually doing things. Much like, if we're honest, those of us who are history buffs, which the history is not quite what you think it is, but that's another video another day. But let's just play with it. For those of us that are history buffs and into culture and things of that nature, and what they've done to certain ones done to certain folks and shit, check. It wasn't about them becoming bitter. In order for better, people had to become badasses. There had to be some. Everybody couldn't be a weasel. Everybody couldn't be a weasel. Everybody couldn't be a sellout for a bowl of beans. For that change to have been enacted, some people had to put their fucking neck on the line. Some people, come hell or high water, they was gonna die trying, bitch. Everybody couldn't hide off in corners and beg Master for to sleep inside the quarters with him and Miss Mammy. Somebody, for our black asses to have the fucking freedoms we have, the limited ones, because we ain't really free altogether, just change swap slavery types. But anyway, that's another day and another video as well. Shit, tell me. Somebody had to decide with their knees shaking. Because see, I didn't say these people in history didn't feel and experience all of the natural human spectrum of shit. Somebody had to say, fuck that, this shit for the birds. You know what? I don't want you, fuck your beans. Okay? Killing our churn, raping, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you and your beans. I'm not finna, I don't want to have a seat in here while I have to sit here and knowing you're torturing my fucking cousin, nigga. What? Weird ass. Take your escalator, stuff it up your ass. Somebody had to say, this is not okay. I go there to entertain y'all, to make somebody laugh. I know I make a good couple people laugh, good and plenty. I know I do. I make a good couple people spit their coffee out, slip off their chair at least once. And that's good, because at least I made you laugh. But to get back to being, fair and serious here. Okay. Somebody had to say in the history that we've been told, to get the limited so-called freedoms that some of our cultures now have. It was only because some people, several folks, decided that it wasn't okay and that it wasn't going to be okay until somebody had the balls necessary. That it wasn't about sitting up in no church singing no hymns and nigga, it was this shit needs to be done. Sitting up here looking up while they beat the bejesus out of you and your kids. Sit there knowing they doing that to your people so that you can sit your ass up here, your ass kissing motherfucker. So you can sit up there and stunt in front. Look what I got. I got what the master got. I have arrived. I'm good now. I'm important. I'm relevant now. The targets, the stronger they are, the more antics and tactics are employed. The more people are recruited. The more resilient a target is, the more they attempt to sabotage that target's life at all costs. And I do mean at all costs. They are willing to sacrifice all their pawns if necessary at the end of the day. At all costs, baby. They losing houses, it don't matter. At all costs. They even don't care when they start falling sick. And may very well get a message from whatever the shit bitch that they do in their special rooms and shit. Okay. They may get cold, just cold, straight up information. It don't matter. Use the Gurbani codes and the CIA codes, bitch, to do whatever. And be told, nigga. You're like, so I am the Sandalin, though. Good. Now I'll keep saying that. The targets aren't in shit. The people who need healing, let me just say this. I said this last night, and I gave the reference of skin. If you take my skin, which is the largest organ of my body, of all of our bodies, it's our first line of defense. From what? Environmental stressors, toxins, things that can make us sick, things that can kill us, things that can cause infection, things getting trapped. It's our first line of defense. If you strip my skin right now, ask any burn victim, anybody that is a victim of severe burning to where the meat's, under there, okay? Everything is going to hurt them. They're going to be susceptible to sickness more than you or I. Everything's going to hurt. The slightest breath, the slightest wind, the slightest movement is going to be excruciating, is going to be exasperating, is going to be burdensome for a burn victim. Are they sick? Yes and no. Their protective barrier has been compromised. They don't need healing in a sense of from what happened to them back when they was 5 years old. Their system was compromised in whatever has created whatever tragedy, whatever abuse, whatever took place to strip their skin from them. So they need what? Protection. They need what? Their protective barrier rebuilt and created so that they are no longer susceptible to the things, the environmental stressors and toxins and poisons, and so that they're not in excruciating pain. The biofield in the energetic system is the first line of defense as well. And if that has been compromised, the target or the being, much like the burn victim, will be very burdened. They will be absorbing. The burn victim is going to absorb everything in that environment more than you or I. They are more porous. There's a porosity there. They're more porous, which is more susceptible to pulling in shit that don't belong to them. It's a reason they want targets in fucked up ass environments. It's the reason they're willing to pay good money to get people to make sure they can keep them in fucked up environments for as long as possible. Human biofield, auric field, energetic system is the same. It's the first line of defense. So whatever invisible energies and vibratory energies, it ain't because that person need healing. Inner child healing is they need defense. So that their vibration, so that they could get into neutral 0 point reset, neutrality, and their baseline, and so that their vibration in its natural state could naturally do what it do as they, let's say, they work on inner child issues or whatever, betrayal and whatever. But it's like telling someone they're sick, they need to go to the hospital and doctor, and they need to, work on their healing, and never providing conducive environment for it. It's like putting a sick person in the sick room and then, bitch, tell them, bitch, you're supposed to heal, bitch. Because that's essentially what it is. Somebody got pneumonia, you go to the doctor, they need to be pleurisy, pneumonia, they need a series of stuff. You tell them they ask, and then you put them in a room, or any kind of communicable, airborne, I have to say, let me specify, anything that's communicable or airborne. So you tell they whole ass, you know what I'm saying, they supposed to, and then you put their ass while you giving them medicine. They go, what? You need to not be bitter, but we're going to make sure you stay in bitter environment, though. We're going to make it always just a little bit of touch out of reach. Always, hopefully, someday, maybe. That's a part of the trap. Keep you jumping, pulling the rug from under you. Review cycle. Narcissism, baby, 101. Get you high, give you hope, pull it. 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 Give you a couple of spaghetti snacks, Scooby snacks, snarsages. Jump. Jump, puppy. Jump. Here's half a bowl of beans, and I promise to give you the other. Just keep trying. Be careful, y'all. Because I said it a while ago. Sometimes, spirituality sometimes is no different. It's religion out of another hole. All this externalizing stuff, all this, you know, um, worshiping of deities, all this perpetual state of you ain't never there. It's always your season is fencing to be, bitch. It's always just little bit out of reach. You just got to suffer a little because they feed off our pain and suffering. Off of our anger, off of our rage, off of all these extremes, they feed. Hitting the vein. Have y'all ever met some people? Listen, they don't even know they parasitic, but have y'all met some people that they only feel better when it's like some kind of drama and shit? Like they only feel better when they could, like, I'm serious. Some of y'all know folks like that. They only feel better once they can get under somebody's skin. It's almost like they can finally breathe inside bitch because they was toxic. It's they can finally because they was able to upset somebody's emotions. Bitch. You know? That's an example of parasitic for some, because people be like, what if they mean they're a parasite or they're a predator or they're parasitic? These are people who feed. That's a feed. That's a loose, a supply. It's energy. And then even to the ones in which some of them are worshiping on the higher. Not gonna get into that on this video. It's a feed. They feel good. Some they feel powerful. It's like, ooh, like a 3-year-old. There's some people don't even realize that's. I promise you, I'm not being condescending. I'm not trying to be pretentious. That's not my intention. But I promise you that there are some people that don't even realize that's what the fuck. And it's not meant to be insulting. We're not told any of this stuff. Just to be fair, none of us are. They don't realize like that's the nature of what's happening. A 3-year-old is going to be a 3-year-old. We don't expect much from them because rightfully so, we don't. They haven't developed. Their mommies and daddies have basically been, they're coddling, and so it's natural, it's normal. They have not developed all of that. That's natural. They want energy. Their natural, predators, parasites in a light, loving sense. I mean, because it's not cruelty connected to it or anything. They gonna get it one way or another. Oh, you ain't talking to me? You're not paying attention? You're not giving me what I want, mommy, daddy, babysitter, brother, sister. Okay, fine. I'm finna act a zip goddamn fool until you do. That's what I'm finna do. I'm finna fall out, bitch. I'm finna cry, bitch. I'm finna be loud. I'm finna do cartwheels, fireworks. I'm finna throw shit in the air. I'm finna go in circles. I'm finna faint. I'm finna all of a sudden get sick. I'm gonna do all the things. I'm going to yell to the top of my lungs, so much so that you're going to be embarrassed. If we're in public, you're going to give me them goddamn Skittles. Just because you don't want to hear my mouth. So in other words, you're going to pay attention to me. You're going to pay. You're going to give me energy. And once the parent get upset, the child is happy. They don't care they finna get a spanking. They're like, good, bitch. They don't have the wherewithal to process, but that's the vibration, good. And you're finally looking at me. Gotcha. I pulled you out of your happy. I pulled you out of your happy. I pulled you out of your solitude. I pulled you out of your state of ease and self-mastery. I pulled you out of your regulating practices. I pulled you out. I got you. And that's what these people are. The glorified version of it. Adult version. Fancy, highfalutin, Louis Vuitton wearing Armani suit. And for the bootleg version, those that are on our level, the Shermani suit, because we got to go to downtown LA to come swap me. I'm cool with it. I'll wear me some shit. What was that episode of Martin and Gina and Tommy and Cole clowned him because they couldn't afford. I'm still laughing at that shit to this day because why do you have to do him like that? But he had to go to the bargain. Was it the? He had to go to the bargain store where he could get like this slightly irregular Air Jordan suit and Air. So is it Air Wax or is it? His shit was fucked up. It was the sleeves was like one short and she lied and said it looked just like the regular stuff. he went outside. Oh, and then they laughed at him hard because he had on his. Oh man. Okay. Well, see, me, I don't care. I'm making the jokes already. I'm like plastic wings and pro wings, baby. Plastic wigs and pro wings. Okay. So, you know, for the ones who, you know, they ain't up there yet. They haven't gotten the Scooby snack level. They ain't sacrificed enough bodies yet. They own body number 7. They got a couple more left to go. So they may still have to wear the Shermani suit, the Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? They may have to. They may have to rock that for a while. You know, get a Mercedes amulet and put it on. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it, y'all. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm just being silly at this point. I'm being silly. Okay, but listen. All this small, seemingly insignificant, seemingly plausible deniability bullshit is all designed to affect the vibration of that person, to plummet them with chaos, static, conflict, so that they are without skin, so that they are an energetic burn victim. Shouts out in love to all sincere burn victims out there. There's one in particular that I absolutely adore. She don't know me, but I know her. If you ever happen to stumble on my video, Burn Victim, Burn Beauty 2018, absolutely adore you. Phenomenal. Respect. Okay. respect. I don't by any means assume that we feel, what you all physically feel. I'm only using symbolism. Love to you. And you are one of the examples who turned that bitterness or those things into, you made that something for yourself. And that's awesome. Targeted individuals are doing the same thing. So when people are accusing us of all sorts of stuff, we are taking our lemons, doing much like you, since we were victim and are. I mean, you had an event. Thank goodness this is not something that you are continually, because how are you to recover if this is something that you were continually subjected to? It's an attempt to suicide, genocide, I should say, on behalf of targets. They're basically attempting to erase them. Because if you look at your own example, you've done beautifully and you've had a lot of support and help, I could imagine. If you were targeted and someone was hell bent on making sure that you couldn't heal and recover, your life would look different. If there was any powers that be wanted to keep you in a perpetual burn state, and you somehow, your surgeries didn't work, or kept you in this raw, your skin being, you wouldn't be where you are. So you definitely have a lot to, I think you're a beautiful person. I just want to say that. I may not know you entirely, but it's like, it's enough. The stuff that I see is enough to go, okay, this is horrific. And she is smiling. And I know you don't smile all the time. I know that off camera, you deal with things like the rest of us. Okay. Good for you. If ever, I don't even know, you don't know me. If ever you happen to, bitch, you are what inspired me. Because many of us targets, our physicality is assaulted, not in the same way, but we have people trying to poison us, trying to stop us from being able to do the things to take care of our own health, which has a lot to do with how then you're gonna appear. We have people that are professional grade hold back up. We have individuals that's doing root work and all kinds of weird shit. So, and just life. I learned some new stuff about fascia and all that stuff, which maybe you know about it. Okay, that affects your health and your appearance and the muscles. And some of it, it's not always aging. Some of it is our fascia. Check it out. But all of that and combined, we live that. And we're fighting, we're speaking out in the ways that we are because we have active energies that are trying to stop what you have beautifully done for yourself. So we might have a tendency to be rogue-like, to be like the forerunners of old days, where it's like the revolutionaries, and that's because they had to be. It was come hell or high water, life or death, because nobody was letting up, nobody was giving them no shot, no fairness, no none of that. So they had to forced into like this vigilante type of vibration. But anywho, I think you're amazing. And anybody else who may stumble on this video and you're something like that, respect. You've inspired me to do what I can do, the best that I can do, and love myself through all of those changes, the injustices that has affected my health and well-being, as well as my appearance. So that's amazing. Okay. Anywho, back to the topic. because I got mad for the lady. I ain't gonna even lie. I actually got mad for this lady as I continue to follow her story and listen. I would get pissed every blue moon. I would hear it and I would be mad for her on her behalf. I'd be like, son of a bitch, nigga, you should have just left her, nigga. You should have just, I'll be talking to myself, talking to the screen. You should have just left her. Damn, bitch, what the fuck's wrong with motherfuckers nowadays? You don't like her, leave her. Shit. The fuck's wrong with you? Leave her. She ain't for you. Shit. Man, that's just like, how many people are crazy? It's like, goodness, that's some deep hate. That's some deep level hate. That's deep. So you set your wife on fire? Cause you mad? You mad? She hurt your feelings? I know I don't know everything, guys. I know I don't know the fullness of whatever could have possibly happened, but this is still horrific. It's like, gosh, I've been in bad relationships. It's like, whether you're the man or the woman, okay, leave, figure out a way, find a way, make a plan, a plot. At the end of the day, if this is hurting you and it's like, okay, you attempt to find your escape. Hate to use those languages, but some of us do have to try to find an escape. You don't set the motherfucker on fire. Deep hate. That's some deep, fermented old shit. It's deep. Goodness gracious, God. Anyway. All of these little things, they play with all these things, especially on resilience. Those that are resilient, super resilient. So they have to barricade these individuals, and they have to continually attempt to get them in situations to where it'll be easy to do that. That's what they have continually done to me and my son, and it's what they're doing to many. And unfortunately, not everybody is in the know of it. And they know that it's going to be difficult for the target to navigate and speak on that type of stuff, because it only feeds the narrative of, we're not, that eternal tantruming, taunting 3-year-old. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. They know people, like I said, people are just working. People just doing their jobs. People are just trying to keep being able to pay their mortgages and their kids' college tuition and their car notes and their insurance plans and their child support and their, people, they know that the average Joe and Josephine is simply just trying to survive. So since they're so insidious and sadistic, and this is passive aggressive coercive tactics, it's not something that's there's no neon sign outside, I'm a toxic crazy killer stalker weirdo bitch obsessed with this motherfucker in your shelter. Like, that would be too easy. So they work all these angles. They convince these communities and these places that something is wrong with these targets and their children. They misconstrue facts with 70% lie. They violate the very constitution in which they have sworn to uphold. by conducting illegal investigations and illegal surveillance. And they walk into these businesses and these organizations and these politicians' campaigns and all of this stuff, in some cases with lies, in other cases with a deal. In either case, both. Because they have to convince these people to be willing to do something that no upstanding, decent being would otherwise really want to do. And that's what they're doing to my son and me and many others. So as we attempt to program and adhere to all of these various governmentally funded, operated entities that we have to navigate through, then it gives the appearance of I'm inept, he's deteriorating and in need of some institutionalization, as they play these puppeteering games behind the scene. As they call every organization that I reach out to. Every entity, every medical, because it is what's happening. And in these various sectors, there are people that are hired by these fusion centers in these sectors too. Playing on everyone's fears, everyone's insecurities, everyone's survival mode, because that's what this is. Even when survival mode is to do with greed. Survival mode on the low end where the person don't barely have and they're willing to jump for the Walmart gift card and the car note being paid and an apartment, rent and whatever. To the larger, where they're already rich, they're just greedy. They already have plenty, they just want more. So they want another contract. They want another Escalade. They want another boat. They want another yacht. They want another house. They want more stuff they can stunt in front for. And it helps when they don't like the target, which is why they try to create an energy to where it's sure to make these people not like the target. It's a part of it. Because people are more likely to comply with you, to do what you say, if they can create an energy of reason for you not to like that person. And that's what they continually do. And this is supposed to exasperate the target. And when it doesn't, when a target stops caring, when the target uses the fact that they're being iced out to say, very well, now I can go in. When the target uses that, then they get into their own hypervigilance and they go over the top. Where it's like, bitch, you can't even go catch the killers. You can't, your ass can't even think straight. You can't get your ass to you know what I'm saying? to the real killers and shit that's looking, waiting for you to be stupid so they can go do more shit. You can't even get to the real emergencies because you're too busy being fake sirens. You can't even get to real shit. Can't get to these pedophiles. Amber alert my ass. You ain't even attended to it. Amber alert. What's that? Get some of these motherfuckers that's hired to do this bullshit to go take care of that. Amber alert. 10, 20 cars deep to follow a disabled man and his 135, 40-pound mount. Got enough security to surveil them 24/7, but you can't go get these trash bags. Got enough oomph and power and get everybody revved up to do that. Could you get them revved up to go get these some bitches? Could you get your witches to go put them motherfuckers out of commission? Hmm. Can't do that, huh? No power there, huh? They ain't strong enough for that, but they strong enough to do plenty of shit on Rain Man and his mama. Weak. Can't get these 2-bit hustlers out here hustling, trafficking teenage girls. Can't catch them, huh? There's not enough manpower, hours, or money for that, huh? Not enough helicopter budget to follow these trashy motherfuckers that need to be studied, but enough to hoover targets. Rain Man and a 135-pound mama. Yeah, they're a threat. Not the killers, the pedophiles, the thugs, the criminals. Yeah, they're a threat. Displaced in the homeless. Yeah, sure, sure, whatever you say. It's a scam. It's a torture program, and many people want in on it, and it's as simple as fucking that.